Hi, folks, it's Mark Merrill with Firm. The people speak volumes, believe it or not. Here's a consideration, and what's overused, we feel here at Firm anyway, as a conundrum, defined, of course, as a confusing and difficult problem or question. Are the United States citizens, United Kingdom citizens, Australian citizens, German citizens, French citizens, Spain and Portuguese people, Italians, Romans and all, Slovakian nations, Polish peoples, and Scandinavian countries along the northern European border? Are all of us men, women, and children under a so-called microscopic technology by the minority of communist or socialist-led nations with a sense of special authority to rule who speaks freely and who doesn't? We here at Firm don't believe that has ever been an issue. Notice that most recently the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, and other less influential groups, mostly from the United States and United Kingdom, social media screamers, of course, have fallen flat or even on dead ears to a real moral majority of millions of civilized people who uphold and stand up, including for poor and non-influenced, for the poverty-stricken, low-income types, single-parent or single-family guardians. What's our point with today's topic? People speak volumes? Yeah, they do. Just this. People in a normal civilized society and or culture don't always have to voice their views on any topic all the time. We the people, just by our actions to help others, does really speak volumes. Just take notice. Mark Merrill for Firm. Now, upcoming here, folks, got some pictures and also some observations by people speaking volumes, posting on social media and other places. Here's a great picture, folks, and the question that goes with it. Tim Walz, Jacob Frey, and Ilhan Omar need to be in jail. But do you agree? $974 likes on this one, folks, back on January 30th. 100 replies and 76 restacks from a media and public forum called Substack. Tricia said yes, among others. Maureen says, okay, you should be in jail too, probably, among others. Targets walking, treason begats treason, another said. Here's another one, folks, right here. If Donald Trump, President Trump, fails in hanging traitors, rednecks won't, and they'll award prizes for the most creative hang of the week. Almost sounds like something that Jeff Foxworthy said, or would have said. What a bunch of lowlifes, was one reply. Another one said, long past due. People of the United States need to see accountability. Another wrote, send Frey and Walz to jail. Well, the previous one, send Omar back to Somalia. Another wrote, traitors are customarily hanged. At least it was in the old days, in the beginnings and foundations of our country. The left will cause more chaos to make you forget about this. It's what they do best. You wait and see, said this one. Agree and take all their assets. Pay back as much as they stole. Reparations, huh? Absolutely. How about send them to El Salvador? We, among other media outlets, folks, know all about El Salvador's country. They're an ally of ours. They have a lot tougher laws on criminal activity. And as far as being shipped out, as far as the others are concerned, or going to jail, this one person puts it quite bluntly and succinctly. Yesterday, if you don't mind. This one's just a reminder here, folks, from Imprimis of Hillsdale College. Today's firestorms, should make it plural, and the Declaration, meaning of independence. Remember? Firm, us, we're always talking about the second paragraph of the Declaration of Independence. You need to read it sometime. But one thing here that stood out to us, folks, in our research back in time a little bit, was from Bill O'Reilly. He wrote an article called this, Pray for the Press, the Media. We'll just take an excerpt from it. A Christian journalist is encouraged to say this, says O'Reilly. Lord, you've called me to serve others by means of information. Grant that I may always work in obedience to the truth, with courage to pay a personal price so the truth will never be betrayed. Help me to join truth in charity, to never ignore anyone's dignity, and to promote in all, to the best of my ability, justice and peace. Nice prayer, he says, right? But the majority of journalists would never say it because the media is the most secular of institutions, agnostic, and often hostile to theology, which is deemed to oppress people by the woke mob. If you don't believe him, he says, check out the owner of the Bloomberg news agency, Michael Bloomberg. He ordered that his crew of journalists at that time not scrutinize his run for president or any of the other Democratic candidates, but they can hammer President Trump all they want. This was during his first term. When asked about the outrageous direction on a CBS program, Mr. Bloomberg said essentially that he pays his people so they will do as they are told. Maybe we should all pray for the journalists at the Bloomberg news operation. But the truth is that most media outlets follow his dictum. Do as you are told or else. No job. That's why the national press is so corrupt. Sadly, wraps up Mr. O'Reilly, he's come to despise his own profession. And he knows, in conclusion of this article, that they know the media industry in America is largely corrupt, driven by money and ideology. But a paycheck is a paycheck, and good media jobs are hard to get. Thus, orders are followed. So, somewhere, Mr. O'Reilly says, St. Francis knows all this too, and he is weeping. As always, folks, we're about truth, facts, reality, and common sense. In the meantime, pray for all of our candidates that are running for either governor of our state of Maine or nationally for the openings at the 1st Congressional and 2nd Congressional District, mostly the 2nd Congressional District. That's up for grabs. And of course, the senator seat by Susan Collins currently. Pray for all of them. We've all been created in the image of God, as we all know, folks. And as we said, we're all about truth, facts, reality, and common sense. Find our podcasts on Twitter or X and YouTube, and also now Substack. And email us anytime 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As you can see here, fairnessinreportingmedia@gmail.com, fairnessinreportingmedia@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us, folks. Pray for our safety and security and new beginnings in the year 2026. Peace to all.